Okay, hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of The Song Out of Space, running on Nintendo Switch. For such a small town, the hotel is pretty fancy. Yes, how may I help you, sir? Have you seen my partner? As far as I know, Miss Armstrong is still in her room. Should I call her to tell her to meet you here? That won't be necessary. She seems quite busy. Perhaps it's better not to bother her right now. Oh, okay. I can't leave until Kathy shows up. Huh, it was about time. Good morning. Sorry for being late, but I was reviewing the files on the dead scientists. Find anything useful? Not really. They'd all just graduated from college. For most of them, this was just a temporary assignment while they worked on their PhDs. I heard someone call you yesterday night. Sorry for the intrusion, but the walls are pretty thin. Was it McConley from the Bureau? Yeah, he wants the case solved fast. So, first he tells us that it'll be an easy job, and now he rushes us to finish quick. Well, if he wants us to be fast, I've got an idea. I think we should separate today. That way we'll be able to follow more leads at the same time. That's a terrible suggestion. Sure, sounds like a good plan. Thanks. I think I'll pay a visit to Kowalski's widow. I believe she'll be more open to talking to me. The question is, who should you talk to today? Do you know who you want to interview? I could call my contact at the Pentagon. What about the reporter Daniel Brown? I know who to interrogate, don't worry. How about I call my contact at the Pentagon. You know someone there? You're full of surprises. Maybe they know something more about the Fairchild Air Force Base, something relevant to our case. It's a long shot, but it might be worth it to make the call and find out. Anyone else you'd like to talk to? I want to talk to the reporter. Huh, the funny guy? The deputy said that he was friends with the missing scientist, Nicholas Forrester. As a friend of our prime suspect, he might know something about what could happen to him. Any more suspects you want to interrogate? Nope. In that case, I'll take off. Let's meet after you're done with your first suspect and we can share notes. Okay, got two options here. Call my contacts at the... asshole motherfucker! I know this guy from the Army, Paul Maine. We used to be pretty good pals, and he owes me a big one. Last time we spoke, he was pretty high up in the Pentagon. But I shouldn't call him from here, just in case. He walked around for quite a while until finding a lonely phone booth near a park. This seems like a discreet place to call. Let's see if the number he gave me still works. You're calling the offices of Paul Maine. I'm Sherry, his secretary. How may I help you? Agent Ross from the FBI. Got it, Mr. Ross. I'll make sure he gets back to you soon. Thanks. Thanks for calling. I should have chosen my words better. That was completely useless. But I still have time to check my other lead, that creepy reporter, Daniel Brown. Really? I thought that was just fine. What the hell? Game's super picky. According to the sheriff's files, Daniel Brown's house was located in a residential area further away from the hotel. A typical American suburb house. I'm sure this guy lives in his mom's basement. Yeah? Are you Mrs. Brown? Yes, I am, and you are? Agent Ross, federal agent. Or, I guess I should say, I'm looking for Daniel Brown. And what do you want with my son? Wait, you're that grumpy federal agent, aren't you? My son told me he was helping you and your partner on solving the case of the murders. But this kid has such a big imagination that no one ever knows whether to relieve him or not. So, you're here to capture Nico, aren't you? That's a terrible, terrible man. Do you know Nicholas Forrester? Yes, he visited my son a couple times. I always knew there was something evil in that one. Didn't like him one bit. But he always came here with that Kowalski fellow. Now, that was a good, decent man. It's a shame what happened to him. So the three of them were friends? Not sure if I would say friends, but they were here a couple times. Maybe it's better if you speak directly with my son. He's upstairs. Follow me. Not in the basement, but close enough. Oh, I wasn't expecting your visit, Agent. Daniel had turned the attic into his room, though it resembled more like a room befitting a teenager rather than an adult male. The walls were decorated with rock band posters and pictures of supposed UFO sightings, and there were magazines all over the place. 14 times number 32 was the moon built by aliens. I hope my secretary wasn't too much of a bother. I hope my secretary wasn't too much of a bother. Actually, your mom was very kind. Yeah, she's quite elderly, so of course I insisted on her living with me, so I can take care of her, you know? Whatever, this is not important. If you're here, it's because you need my help solving this case. You've made the right choice coming to me. I have a lot of information about what's going on. What can you tell me about Nicholas Forrester? He had lived his entire life in Seattle, so moving to this small town was quite a culture shock for him. He felt like most people in this town were dumb and boring, except for me and Kowalski, of course. But other than that, he was a normal guy, not a psycho. He wouldn't hurt anyone, especially not Kowalski. It just doesn't make any sense. They were friends. Do you know William Kowalski? Yeah, he was one of the scientists working at the station. We were good friends. He was friends with most of the town, though. The guy was really nice and well-spoken. He had a natural charisma. But I think it was just a mask, and that deep down he felt that his only true friends were Nico and me. Man, I'm going to miss him so much. Was there anything strange going on with the scientists? Strange? I wouldn't be able to say. I didn't know them that well. They were not very interested in my stuff. A lot of scientists lack imagination. They never questioned what they were taught in school. Of course, some of them do have an open mind. Nico and Kowalski, for example. So they were fans of your work, huh? Yeah, I felt honored having them contact me. Though, to be honest, I felt that talking to me was part of their own investigation about secret radio emissions from the Air Force Base. They were convinced that the folks at the base were sabotaging their work. Sabotaging their work how? To understand that, you need to know more about what they were doing at the research station. They were scanning for radio transmissions coming from space. And it seemed that radio signals from airplanes interfered with the radio waves the scientists needed to record, so... Okay. Tell me more. That's why they built a research station here, because of the Air Force Base. It's all restricted airspace. So even if the Air Force tested prototype crafts for a few hours each month, there was still tons of hours without any air traffic to capture data. But lately, with the last 6 months or so, they hadn't been able to record anything with their devices, even when the base wasn't testing anything. Nico and Kowalski were convinced that the military was invading the entire radiophonic spectrum, like emitting garbage radio waves on purpose to interfere with their research activity. And when they tried to speak with the commander of the base, the Washington State University ordered them to close the research station down immediately. Okay, but then why were the scientists there? They put a whole lot of pressure on the university. They even wrote about it in the campus newsletter, and were allowed to reopen just a month ago. Then they all appear dead, and one of them is missing, so he gets all the blame? Rather convenient, don't you think? Why would they want them dead? I don't know. Maybe they heard something that they shouldn't have. Look, I'm a bit tired, and all this talk about my friends is depressing me. Maybe come back at another time? Like I suspected, this runs deeper than we originally thought. I should meet with Kathy and check what else she's learned. The sun was going down when you made it back to the town center. About time. I've been looking for you for a while. I think this is a good spot to put our findings together, don't you think? Share what we've learned here. Kathy listened to your explanation, nodding her head from time to time. As much as I hate to admit that Conley was right in being so interested in this case, it feels like there's more to it than I originally thought. I interviewed Kowalski's widow. She's completely convinced that Forrester went and killed her husband and all of the scientists. But I have no way of knowing how much of that is just her believing what the sheriff and his deputies told her about the case. She didn't know too much about her husband's job, other than the fact that he mentioned something about their investigation making a big breakthrough soon. If you ask me, I think that Kowalski married her because she was cute, not because of her conversational skills. It's getting kind of late. Let's head back to the hotel. We can compare our notes while we talk there. Or while we walk there. The sun was going down and the air felt colder. Soon it would be dark. I hope McConley doesn't call me again tonight. As soon as you enter the hotel, the clerk approaches you. She seems quite distressed. Excuse me, agents? The sheriff called and said that you should go to his office immediately. Can you wait until tomorrow? He insisted. It's pretty urgent. You see, apparently somebody shot the deputy. Thanks for letting us know. Tell the sheriff that we're heading over there immediately. Huh, what the hell's going on? We won't know until we take a look inside the sheriff's office and examine the body. Let's go. Gardner was surrounded by miles of forest. You wondered if Nicholas Forrester was looking at you from somewhere over there. Everyone in town was already locked inside their home. Only the sound of the wind could be heard. If you hadn't seen this place in the daytime, you could swear it was a ghost town. It's locked. Agent? Oh, thank God you've arrived. This door can't be opened from the outside without a special key. Let me unlock it for you. The lifeless body of Deputy Crane lied in a chair covered in blood. This is madness. I spoke with him just a few hours ago, and now he's gone. You need to call for reinforcements, agents. We need a federal team to track down that maniac. Calm down, Sheriff. Calm down my ass. Either get your FBI buddies to conduct a search and apprehend that freak, or I will. Just tell us what happened. Isn't it obvious that lunatic Nicholas Forrester shot Deputy Crane and then ran away? Did you see him? No, I wasn't here when he killed Crane. I was on my way home when I suddenly heard a gunshot. Of course, I rushed back here immediately, but when I arrived, Forrester had already left. I looked around the nearby area, and there was no trace of him or where he could have gone. Do you mind if we check the scene? Sure, as long as you call for reinforcements once you're done. The more time this psycho is on the loose, the more likely it is that he finds more victims. This definitely doesn't look like the same MO as the one at the research station. Either the killer was in a hurry, or there's something else entirely going on here. We're going to ask the Bureau to send a forensic unit down so we can find out for sure what happened. I'll examine the room meanwhile. Good. Check for anything that seems out of place. Just don't step on any blood, okay? Okay, what do we got here? This window is locked. They all are. Is there something wrong? Can these be locked from the outside? I don't see how, but I have a theory. Maybe Forrester entered through a window, shot Deputy Crane, and then locked all the windows and left through the front door. Why would he lock all the windows? Who knows? Perhaps he got nervous after the murder and wasn't thinking straight. Or maybe he did it to confuse us so that we didn't know how he got in and out. Boy, this guy. The lifeless body of Deputy Crane sat in the chair. He had been shot on the side of the head. 2 holes. 1 bullet went in and out. I guess it wasn't a high caliber round, otherwise we would have a headless corpse right here. There was a trail of blood going down Crane's arm onto the ground, and in the middle of the bloody puddle, a revolver. A police-issued handgun. He dropped it? That's Crane's weapon. I'm sure of it. I guess he aimed at Nicholas, but the bastard shot him before Crane could fire back. You noticed that there was something unusual on the desk next to the typewriter. Some kind of cheap portable cassette player. Let's see what's inside. It's the tape that was missing. But why did Crane have it? Did you find something relevant? No, nah, nothing. Poor Crane. He always listened to loud music when he was working here at night. We put on a pair of gloves and examined the gun. Wait a minute. The weight of this thing isn't right. Like I thought, a bullet is missing, and the barrel smells like the gun's been fired recently. Did you find something? How many gunshots did you hear? Only one. I would have noticed if there were more. Not that dumb. Why? The shot came from this weapon. How's that possible? Was he troubled recently? Crane? Are you insinuating that he shot himself? That's ridiculous. I knew him like a son, goddammit. He was the most cheerful person in this damn town. So you can forget about that shit right now. He wouldn't have killed himself, ever. It's better if I place the gun back where it was. Just spoke with the Bureau. The Specialist Forensic Police Unit is on its way. We will get here tomorrow morning. And they'll be bringing a team to apprehend Forrester as well. Did you find anything relevant while I was gone? Your partner found a few extra details, but nothing that changed the overall picture. Forrester broke in somehow, probably through the window. He tried to ambush Crane, who didn't notice his presence because he was listening to loud music. The deputy, of course, tried to reach for his weapon. They brawled for it, and at that point, the gun fired, killing Crane. And then Forrester left in a hurry since he knew that someone would have heard the gunshot. That's an interesting theory, Sheriff. I take that you support this theory too, Ross? No, no one broke in here. I know where you're heading here, so let me take it off the table right now. Crane did not shoot himself. You spoke to the guy, goddammit. Did he sound like the sort of guy that would blow his own head off? I've got to admit that the sheriff has a point here. Why would he do something like this? Maybe because of this. Show the tape. Is that the missing tape? The deputy had it? Hey, where'd you get that? Crane must have taken it from the station, but why did he hide it from us? Maybe he was involved in murders. Perhaps he was protecting Forrester. To frame Forrester, I bet the sheriff knew about it. Perhaps he was protecting Forrester? Protecting? That wouldn't make any sense. He's been tagging him as the killer since the beginning. But what if Forrester is innocent? What if Crane was protecting someone else? No, that's not what happened at all. Sheriff, if you know anything, I advise you to tell us right now before we press charges against you for obstructing the investigation. All right. Yes, it was Crane who took the tape from the research station. But it's not what you think. See, it happened when you visited the research station. Can you believe these fucking city snobs? They think they can come here and tell us how to do our jobs? And that guy, I'm sure that douchebag thinks he's hot shit. He was following the chick like a lapdog. What a pathetic wimp. There's nothing that the feds enjoy more than bossing around folks like us, kid. It makes them feel important. At least they'll catch Forrester, and then we can forget about the whole shit show. I wouldn't count on that. Not without this tape, at least. Are you fucking insane? Do you know what could happen to you if they found out you took this? They won't find out. While they waste their time looking for clues, I'll listen to it. If it says nothing about Forrester's whereabouts, I'll tell the feds that we found it after we checked this place for a second time. But if it mentions Forrester could be hiding, we go first and catch him. We'll take the credit and teach those douchebags a lesson. Well, when you put it like that, I guess there's nothing wrong with us checking the tape first. And I've always thought we deserved a bit more respect from the folks in town. I swear to God that's what happened. Sheriff, but your story sounds a little too convenient, and the only person who could confirm it is dead. I'm telling you the truth. We just wanted to check out the tape before you. I keep pressuring him. My partner doesn't seem convinced, and neither am I. What did you do to Forrester? Did he run away, and that's why you're trying to frame him? No, you're making a mistake. I'm innocent, I swear. Listen to the tape. You'll see I've got nothing to do with what happened. He's right. We should check it out. It may be the only way to know for sure who did it, and why. You place the tape back in the listening device. Have you decided what to do with it? I can listen to it too if you want. Yes, please. Tell me what's on it. I don't think any of it should. Oh. I wonder if this is gonna, like, drive us crazy and make us kill each other. Yeah, I'll listen to it. I'm not going to complain about not having to hear how those people got murdered. You sat at the desk in front of Deputy Crane's body, put on the headset, and pressed play on the device. Testing. Okay, Dr. Kowalski. Gardner Station Day, log 48. We're going to attempt... Wait, why is it auto... Why is it... Would you stop interrupting me, Forrester? Keep listening. So, as I was saying, we first detected the signal 6 months ago, and we were never clear... And while we never got a clear recording, we extrapolated some interesting data about its origin. From what we've been able to determine, the source of it is located. It could be... what is clear is what it is, the signal... Wait, why is it auto... What the fuck, dude? We can't ignore the strange patterns that this song has either. Indeed, we quickly noticed that the signal has structure with clear, repetitive sig... We could theorize that these patterns can be... What? Why is it auto... What the fuck? Why is it auto-scrolling? Let me read this shit. Are you fucking serious? Unfortunately, the orders to shut down the station made it impossible. That is until tonight, of course. As I mentioned in previous logs, since the Gardner Station reopened, this has been due to constant massive storms of interference, and we haven't been able to... But that wasn't going to stop us. So tonight we'll be testing a new high-speed signal processing technique that was devised by my colleague. That's me! This procedure should allow us to get a clean recording of the transmission despite all the background interference. We expect the necessary modifications for tonight's procedure to be completed shortly. Sorry to interrupt, sir, but we're ready to begin the scan. Excellent. Start recording the transmission. Now. Well, this is fascinating. I've never heard anything like this. It feels like something alive. What the hell is this? Doesn't seem like a radio transmission at all. More like a strange melody. I'm detecting unusual... Turn it off, it's here, it followed us, it can't be. It's growing inside my head, you want to go away. I can see you. What the f... Hey, are you okay? Your face turned white for a second. I saw something. Saw? You mean heard? I guess the tape must be pretty hardcore. Well, at least now you know the murderer was Forrester, right? Yeah, what did you learn? It wasn't Forrester. That's impossible. If it wasn't him, then who? Perhaps someone or something else. Just our damn luck. We finally find the tape and all we get are more questions. What was that? That noise came from the corridor over there. There's someone else here. I'll keep an eye on the sheriff. Go check who's making those noises, but be careful. It's the storage room. There's someone in there. won't budge. I don't have the time for this. Hopefully that thing making noise wasn't the door. Freeze! Shit, he's gone. What the hell was that? Why did you shoot? Someone ran away. Go after him, Ross. I'll be right behind you in a minute. Hey, don't cuff me. What if Forrester comes back? I wonder what the hell they were looking for here. He ran away towards the forest. I should go after him. You pursue the figure as it runs away to the woods. Your legs start to hurt and you're panting, but you don't stop. Eventually, the figure stops at a lonely cabin. Now I've got you. You look back at the seemingly endless forest behind you, but there are no signs of your partner. I hope Kathy managed to see where I was heading. The cabin stood alone in a small forest clearing. The lights were out and there wasn't any sound coming from the inside, but you knew there was someone inside. That figure went in there. Perhaps I can make that person come out. Calm down, I just want to talk. No response. No signs of Kathy. If I don't want that person to escape, I'll have to go in on my own. I may be alone, but not defenseless. The dim light from the old lamp is the only thing keeping the interior of the cabin from total darkness. Slowly your eyes get used to the low light, and then you see someone hiding behind the furniture. I surrender! Don't shoot! You're in the sheriff's office. Why? I was looking for something important. I need to get back there. We need to destroy it. Not until you answer me. There's no time, don't you understand? The song is out there on that damn tape. Some fool has played it. I can feel it. It has to be destroyed before more people get killed. First, tell me who you are. I guess there's no point in hiding it anymore. You might have guessed it by now, but I'm Nicholas Forrester. Tell me what happened at the station. What happened? Fucking hell on earth, that's what happened. All because of that damned music. The song that they were researching at the Fairchild base. You must have seen the corpses. Haven't you figured out who did that to them? It was them. They did it to themselves, and they kept laughing while they were killing each other. Laughing as they were hitting and biting and tearing each other's flesh. I was laughing too. Even poor Ellie was laughing when Kowalski grabbed an axe and cut her head off. And the entire time that voice kept on whispering to us, telling us that was all a hilarious joke. How'd you survive? I don't know. Last I remember is that someone hit me on the head, then everything turned black. When I woke up, I was in the forest, naked and half dead. I barely managed to crawl to this place. But I wish I died that night too, because I won't ever be able to forget that song. Even now I can feel it scratching at the edge of my mind, waiting for me to give up so it can take over. That's how I knew the tape had been played. A part of me just felt it. And it's how I can see that. Oh shit. You listened to the tape, didn't you? Had it spoken to you? Have you seen its face? Have you seen its true face? Has it spoken to you? Have I spoken to you? Have you seen my... When I came back to your senses, Forrester's lying. Huh? He pushed you to the ground, aiming at you with, okay. Freeze or I'll shoot! Let me go! I'm the only one that can! Die! Why did you make me do it, you fucking stupid? Why does it auto-scroll sometimes? What the fuck is going on? Ross! Holy shit, it pisses me off. It's like, let me read the shit. I didn't put it on auto-scroll. God damn it. Fucking rookie mistakes, man. That's when you lost consciousness. And you don't remember anything else. Is that right, Mr. Ross? What? Is there anything else you want to add? Where am I? Does he really have amnesia, or he's just trying to get on our nerves? Faking it or not, we have more than enough for the judge to do his work, so let's scram. I can't stand this fucker anymore. Yeah, fuck him. After what he did to that poor girl, he deserves a chair. I didn't do anything. Anything? They found you chewing the entrails of your partner, you fucking nutjob. Chill out, mate. Let's go. The agents leave the room, leaving you alone to meditate on what would happen next. I never thought it would end like this. That's when you heard someone approaching, or rather, something. The end. This game has multiple endings and secrets to reveal based on your choices. Find them all. Okay, well. We got a bad end out of this, but thankfully we did save. So let's go here. And apparently your save is useless after you try to restore. The fucking shit's broken. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah, shit is broken. That's hilarious. Yeah, game player played in a dark room. Sure. Whatever, assholes. Can't fucking program a save feature correctly. Alright, let's play as Catherine. Catherine has excellent detective and forensic skills, but the rampant sexism of the 60s will make it harder for her to be taken seriously as a federal agent. That morning, your boss at the FBI, Arthur McConnelly, asks you to go to his office. Ah, you're finally here, Catherine. Mr. Ross and I have been waiting for you for a while. Just where the hell is that coffee that I ordered? I'm not a waitress. Heh, you're damn right you aren't. You're a federal agent. And if you want to keep the job, you better follow my requests as if they're coming from the president himself. Now just shut up and listen. You may learn something from Agent Ross. I hope you appreciate the chance I'm giving you to learn from one of the best feds around, Catherine. Maybe you're putting too much faith in me. I might be rusty. Nonsense. We need more men like you if we want to beat those damn commies. The whole deal with the Ruskies started to go to hell when we caught them red-handed building nuclear silos in Cuba. Where the hell did they get off? That's right in our own backyard. And instead of fighting them, we had to negotiate to make them back down. Ridiculous. Our politicians were too weak. See it, Ross? Even a woman gets it. Yes, our leaders are cowards and the commies know it. Now they'll think that they can threaten us to get whatever they want. Fortunately, I'm not the only one on the Bureau that thinks we've been underestimating the Red Menace. That's why you're here. Take a good look at these pictures. These pictures aren't very nice. The bodies are bloody and lack any trace of skin. Whatever happened here was a real massacre. The bodies are not missing any chunks of flesh, such as from bites or claw marks. That discards any animal attack. It's some kind of building with a big antenna array. Perhaps a radio station? The skin has been removed carefully enough to leave the flesh and eyes intact. This must have taken hours, so the intention was not just killing. It was way more sadistic. I think I've seen enough. Lovely, isn't it? Where were they found? The pictures are from an astronomical observatory in Gardner, a small town in the state of Washington. This morning, the sheriff found this desecration. 12 bodies slaughtered, and one of the researchers is still missing. We don't know who did this or why. What were they researching? Nothing with any military purpose, for all we know. The observatory was doing routine deep space data gathering for the Washington State University. Let me tell you, nothing good can come out of an obsession with outer space. Still, those folks don't deserve to die like that. Yes, from what I've heard, they don't use telescopes. They seem to analyze radio signals from space, or something like that. Nothing worth dying for. Not like this, at least. Who's the missing scientist? We don't know much other than his name, Nicholas Forrester, a young PhD physics graduate, no criminal record. He and the rest were hired by the WSU a few months ago. So what do you want us to do? It's simple. I want you to go and make sure that there's nothing on this case that involves the Ruskies. Normally, we wouldn't send federal agents, but the town is a few miles away from the Fairchild Air Force Base, which has a lot of things that the commies would like to take a look at. This doesn't look like their job. I understand. We'll go immediately. Just drive there and let Agent Ross do his job. You might even learn something. You and your partner walked to the FBI's parking lot and took the black Cadillac that had been assigned to you. You drove the car for several days, only stopping to sleep at motels whilst on the road. Every mile you drove away from the headquarters of the Bureau lifted an oppressive feeling off your chest. Overall, the state of Washington wasn't very welcoming, almost as if it was trying to warn you to stay away. Here, the sky is always cloudy, so it's almost impossible to see the stars. Why would those idiots build an observatory here? Let's see, radio signals aren't blocked by clouds. I was asking myself the same question. Remain silent. Radio signals aren't blocked by clouds. Right. McConnelly mentioned that. I should have known you'd remember. According to your file, you were the top of your class in the academy. I'm surprised that someone as smart as you would end up being McConnelly's secretary. I'm an agent, not a secretary. Yeah, right. Wrong choice of words, I guess. Let me ask you something. Agent to agent. This whole thing about the missiles in Cuba. What do you really think? Should we have been more aggressive? Sure, I agree with what McConnelly said. Really, McConnelly is a right-wing idiot that thinks that when it rains, it's Stalin taking a piss. Nah, I think you're smart enough to know that the way to get promoted is to keep your real thoughts to yourself. Hey, I'm gonna turn on the radio. What kind of music do you like? Anything is fine. Nice. See if I can get some Elvis. That noise is disgusting. That's when you realize you were just about arriving at your destination. The town's hall gardener in Washington State. A bunch of nosy villagers watched closely as your car entered the small town. The town was not very big, but the streets were crowded. Everyone seemed peaceful and calm, all of them oblivious to the brutal crimes that had just occurred a few kilometers away. Looking at this place, it's hard to imagine that people were brutally killed nearby. It's unlikely that such a sadistic killer would live in a small, peaceful town like this one, don't you think? Actual research shows the opposite. Well, I guess that living in a place where nothing interesting ever happens can make you snap. As soon as you stepped out of the car, a young man ran towards you. Black suit? Driving a Cadillac? Are you FBI, CIA, or maybe another more shady organization? No comments. Yeah. Hey, I'm a citizen and I pay my taxes. Sure, I should have some answers. Me and my readers. So let's start this interview all over again. Daniel Brown, author of the Fortean Report. Are you here for the dead scientists? The sheriff has not let the press on the site yet. Is it true that one of the astronomers is still missing? Do you have any clue of his whereabouts? I can't confirm or deny anything. But the readers deserve to know the truth. What readers, Daniel? Yeah, weirdo friend of yours was the only one who ever read your stupid flying saucer fanzine. And look what he ended up doing. You don't know that for sure. You don't know for sure that Nicholas was the killer. What I know is that I can get you arrested for obstruction of justice. Now scram. Yeah, that's better. I'm sorry that creep bothers you, folks. I'm glad you came, Sheriff. Sheriff? Oh, no. I'm just a lackey. The sheriff is my boss. I'm Albert Crane, the deputy. Nice to meet you. I take it you're the feds we've been looking for, right? But they told us you were coming a couple hours ago. But I didn't expect to see a woman. I didn't expect to see a monkey. Hey, watch your mouth, missus. I'm Agent Stuart Ross, and this is my partner, Agent Armstrong. Huh. To be honest, I'm not really sure why they sent you. The sheriff and I have already identified the killer. It may take some time, but he will be found and brought to justice. I guess you made that long trip in vain. Hey, you know who did it? Yeah, well, it's not like we have any proof yet, but it's obvious that the killer is the missing scientist. He went mad, murdered everyone, then ran away. You seem pretty convinced of your theory. There was no one else with him at the station, and no one in this town would be able to do something so twisted. Only he could have done it. Can you tell us about the town? You know, just a typical place. We're all pretty close to the military base, and so all this is restricted airspace. There's no planes flying over us. That's why the astronomy station was placed here. Other than that, it's just a town full of good people. Who was that reporter that spoke to us? Danny Brown, a reporter? What a joke. Reporter's a word too big for what that clown does. He likes to say that he runs a magazine, but really all he writes is a bunch of nonsense about UFOs that nobody reads. It's nuts, I know. He was friends with the killer, and I don't think he's involved at all with the murders. I've known Daniel since high school. He doesn't have the balls to hurt anybody. And much less to do something as inhumane as this. He's just the laughingstock of the town. How's the town reacted to all of this? Well, this is a small town, so news spreads quickly, but I think most people don't realize how horrible the whole show was. The saddest part is that one of the dead scientists was just married to the mayor's daughter, Carrie, poor girl. But I guess it means she's game. Where's the sheriff? He's waiting for you at the crime scene. He didn't want to leave just in case the culprit came back. Criminals always come back to the scene of the crime. Did you know that? I can bring you to him if you want. Yeah, sure. It's a couple of miles from here. Get in my car and I'll drive you there. Hey, George, the feds are here. The sheriff seemed nervous. He quickly tossed his cigarette and walked towards you. Well, I'm George Berry, the sheriff of Gardner. And you are? I'm Agent Ross, and she's my partner, Agent Armstrong. Well, I'd say that I'm pleased to meet you, but the circumstances are quite grim. You'll find the crime scene inside the station with the bodies and everything. What is this place? A research station of some kind. I don't know. There haven't been any problems with it up until now, but I'm sure that in the future this town will be more wary about accepting foreigners. Maybe it's better if you see it with your own eyes. After all, afterwards I'll answer any more questions you have. Just let me warn you, it isn't a nice sight. So, maybe the lady wants to wait outside? What, you don't enter? Hell no, I've seen enough. The place was an old military radar station, which had later been repurposed to gather radio signals from space. The military design was still evident, though. It was high in the mountains, so the air was cold, perhaps too cold for this time of year. As soon as you opened the door, you regretted it instantly. A flow of foul, rotten air invaded the whole place. You covered your mouth with one hand, trying desperately to control the sudden urge to vomit, and then you stepped inside. The interior was as welcoming as promised. It was hard just to breathe among the smell of rotten corpses. As you step in, your shoe touches something on the ground, a mutilated arm. Just one of the dozens of human remains scattered all over the place. This is insane. Whoever did this must have spent hours cutting and dismembering. There doesn't seem to be any pattern or method. Whoever did this just killed at random. Over a table full of computer controls, there was the main event, the Circus of Horror. A small and bloody human torso. The skin had been removed, the legs butchered, the eyes had been pulled out and were lying close to the head. The body had been covered by a pile of human ears. You counted them, 24. Oh, God. The small frame implies that it's a woman. I think she was butchered with some kind of heavy item, possibly with that axe over there. I hope she was already dead when this all happened. There was an axe on the table, and it was bloody. There were small chunks of flesh all over the edge of his head, and one on the handle, too. All this dismemberment suggests that it must have been done with a heavy-edged weapon. Have you seen this axe? What do you think? Is that what the murderer used to kill all these people? Yes, that seems quite reasonable. That's what I thought too, but do you think that maybe someone staged all this? You know, to make us dismiss the investigation as just the work of an insane killer? What, like the Russians? Who knows, perhaps? Do you have eyes? This is insane. There was a group of mutilated corpses lying on the ground. Arms and legs had been chopped off with blatant disregard. Some bodies had been decapitated, too. The sheriff showed his face through the door. Oh, we haven't found all the heads yet. Ross walked towards the remains and flipped one of the heads over with his foot. Huh, this one has no ears. And that one neither. Huh, I think all of them. All of their ears have been ripped off. Ah, about that. Maybe you should check the body on the table. Yeah, we did check the body on the table. You look pale. Haven't you seen corpses before? Yes, but this is nothing like it. You'll get used to it. Well, I guess you understand the situation better now. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. Alright, just a second. Let's see. Did they have any friends in town? Well, the scientists were pretty quiet and didn't mingle too much with the townsfolk. You shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but if you ask me, they were a bunch of city snobs. There was one exception, of course. One of them, William Kowalski, was actually a nice fellow. Yeah, he used to talk about how he wanted to leave a better world for the future generations. But all he left was a pregnant widow. All the scientists from out of town? Yes, and they didn't really talk much with the people in town, to be honest. Well, except for one of them, of course, William Kowalski. He was married to Carrie, the mayor's daughter. It caused quite a lot of gossip at first. I heard she'd taken the news pretty badly. She refused to talk to anyone. Kind of normal, though. She just lost her husband. Yeah, and from what I've heard, they had just found out she was pregnant. It's a damn shame. Any theories? No, the clues are quite obvious. It was the missing scientist who did it, Nicholas Forrester. That sick bastard. I hope beasts find him and make him pay for what he's done. It will still be merciful compared to what I would do to that fucker if I got my hands on him. You seem pretty convinced he's guilty. Come on, there's no other explanation. It had to be him. He was working here the night of the murders. He's the only one whose corpse is not rotting in there, and he ran away. No, I just wonder what the hell makes a lanky scientist lose his head and chops up his friends like that. That's when Ross came out of the station. He was holding something in his hands. Found these. You think they might be useful? Cassette tapes. The labels on them are dated, so these must be some kind of audio log for the station. Let me check if the one from the night of the So you've noticed it too, right? The recording from the night of the murders happened. The recording from the night the murders happened is missing. Yeah, well, whatever. The detail doesn't change the bigger picture, does it? Most likely the murderer took it with him to cover his tracks. Yeah? Then why didn't he hide the bodies? Well, folks, it's getting pretty late, so I'm going to lock the gate until the doctor arrives tomorrow and disposes of the bodies. The last thing we want is animals having a feast with the deceased. And I'm sure you're pretty tired, so Albert can drive you back to your hotel, if that's okay. Sure, I'd love to take a shower. You headed to the deputy's car, who drove you back to your hotel in town. After checking in the hotel, you went straight to your room. Hey, it's me, Russ. Can you talk? Alright, why don't we stop it there? This is Audapostrophe. You've been watching the song Outer Space, running on Nintendo Switch. Alright, well, we got one ending. The Cthulhu ending, I guess you could call it. Where the tape is actually a calling to some sort of unknown creature that makes you kill yourself. You know, very Event Horizon-ish for the story. But there are multiple storylines and multiple ways to get there, and multiple endings. So yeah, we'll play it through a little bit more, at least to get at least one more ending, and we'll see if people are interested to see the rest of them. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.